And hello, and welcome to another edition of the Kent Holste podcast. I'm so glad that you decided to click this link and join in the conversation, as today I'm going to talk about a little bit of what's been going on. A lot of you have been writing me and asking me, hey, when are you going to do another podcast? Because it's been a long time. Well, that's because a lot has been going on. I lost my job that I had, and then I basically was trying to find a new one, and finally I got 2 different jobs, and things are going really well. But in the midst of all this, it took some time to regroup. I had to think about what was most important when it comes to a job. Where am I going to be happy? What am I going to do that is going to lead to a little bit more success like I used to have in my past jobs? So, yes, there was a lot of insecurity. There was a lot of vulnerability for sure, but it took a little bit of time for me to get out of this depression. And what's funny is when you go through life in different situations, you sometimes come across these times where you just feel so down. You feel low. You start questioning your self-worth, your value. Have you ever gone through that? And what's difficult about being depressed is sometimes it's hard to pull yourself out of it, especially when times are gloomy and low and you just don't know where to turn, where to go, who to trust, who to talk to. And that's why it's important that you set yourself up in life to where you have a backup plan. You have a roadmap to success. And what do I mean by that? Maybe it's your friendships, the people that you talk to and hang out with. Are they helping you motivate yourself? Are they convincing you and telling you that, hey, this is where you need to go? This is what you need to do with your life. This is what you need to focus on to be better. Because sometimes in your work, you get so wrapped into things that you get frustrated. And when things don't necessarily go as planned and you have things that come your way that you don't know how to handle, and when you don't have support and people there to guide you and you're trapped, you feel cornered. Sometimes you say and you do things that you regret saying. And sometimes they come out and you meant to say it in your mind and it comes out and then you're like, oops, and it makes matters worse. Sometimes you have things in your life where you just do things that are out of your control. Maybe you did a performance or you did a job and it just wasn't the best that company or the people that you were working for didn't like. And so you lost that opportunity to continue that job because they lost faith in your efforts to do what was right. And you become depressed because of that. Sometimes, yes, the things that we say, we lash out, we say things, we do things without noticing what we just did or the consequences of how it was taken or how it was expressed may have been the wrong way, and people may have twisted it and maybe assumed a different way from what you were actually trying to say. And those can lead to depressing thoughts. Like, why didn't I say it differently? And you beat yourself up. Some people can get over things and it's not a big deal and they forget about it right away. But for some people who strive for perfection, strive for being perfect in their lives without having any flukes or flaws. Or maybe it's because you've been in a situation where if you've been told you weren't good enough before by someone that you cared about, and it's been beaten into your mind like a punching bag. You're not good enough. People don't like you. What you do is all for nothing. They break down your self-value. You later in life will have that in the back of your mind. And when something happens, the littlest thing happens, and people say this job isn't good enough or whatever, and they get hard on you, the stuff from your past that you went through can hash back up. And you sit there feeling defeated. And that doesn't help your already depression that you may have. A lot of people suffer from chronic depression. Some people go through these emotions where, yes, things don't go right, but they just don't know how to handle it when it doesn't. And they beat themselves up. They feel down. They start to say that maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I don't deserve to work here. Maybe I don't deserve this relationship. Maybe I don't deserve this friendship. It all crashes down on you like a bag of bricks, and it hurts. How do you get through your times where you go through these mistakes or misfortunes or whatever you want to call it? How do you get through it? Because there's going to be times in your life where you're always going to have that feeling of being down. But if it's one thing that I've learned in my 41 years of life, is that every day is a new day. Every day is a chance to make things better from the day before. To not make the same mistakes again that you'd made the day prior or in years past. Yes, the memories, yes, the past may be hard to get over, but it's not the end just because you screw up or things don't go your way. You know, it's becoming more and more common where relationships don't last. And the reason for those not lasting, God knows why. But we're becoming more and more common of hearing, oh, how many marriages have you been through? Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5, maybe 6, who knows? And people beat themselves up. I know for me, being in multiple relationships, that's not how I plan things. And when I look back on it, it's depressing. Because for me, I have always had this dream of having the perfect family, the perfect home that I own with lots of land, maybe having nice vehicles that I don't have any car payments on. I think we all go through this, but for some of us, especially when you hit an older age like me at 41 and you still haven't reached a lot of these goals, these expectations that you've had since you were young or however it may be, it can be depressing. Yes, you reach some of them, but it's the major ones like the home, the family, not having payments on cars or whatever. Or maybe it's the fact that you are having to pay child support and you're finding it hard to survive because the payments that they take out leave you with little to nothing. And when you get your paycheck, you look at it and you go, well, I can buy maybe a meal or two at McDonald's for what I got paid. And that's it. It's hard. It's depressing. Because I know for me, when it comes to my child support and when it comes out of my check and I see how much I've made, I go, wow, I put in all this work. I spent all those hours. And what do I have to show for it? And especially for people like me who don't get the honor and privilege of spending time with these kids that you pay child support for, it makes it even that much harder. Another thing that, for me, in my depression, it's like holidays with Christmas, when I see families together and kids being happy with their parents, or even sporting events when people are bragging about their kids and which one they are and all that good stuff. It makes me wish that I could go through that with my kids. It's hard. It makes you depressed. It makes you think to yourself, will things ever get better? Again, in the comments, if you've been through this, share your advice on how you get through it. This isn't a time to be negative, to point fingers, to make blame of other people. Because let's be honest, the only one to blame for anything that goes on in your life is yourself. Because at the end of the day, you're the one who chooses to live your life the way that you do. You're the one who chooses to say the words that you say. You're the one who chooses to show the actions that you show. No one forces you to do these things. You are in control of your emotions, your life. So why let yourself get to these moments where you feel so down that you don't feel like getting up? You don't feel like going to work. You don't feel like you can be open and honest with people because you can't trust. You have to give things a chance. Because if you're looking outside your window and you're afraid to look out because of what you might see, then maybe it's time that you work on that. Overcoming these obstacles, your fears, any objection that you have in your life. Maybe it's all about closing certain doors in your life that are open, that are laying heavy on your life. You know, a lot of the topics that I talk about may seem repetitive on certain topics. Because in reality, in life, everything is the same. It all leads towards the same thing, the same advice, the same facts. If you need help, ask for it. If you're depressed and you feel like you have nothing left to give, search. Maybe it's about opening up a Bible and finding advice there. Maybe it's going to church, finding a church. Maybe it's about going to a doctor to see about getting on medication to help you with your depression, your anxiety. Maybe it's about going to a therapist and they can help guide you. Maybe it's about spending time with your family, spending time with your friends that are actually healthy friends, friends that don't bring you down, but aren't afraid to tell you how it is when you need to hear it. Maybe it's time that you take time to pray. Ask God to help you. Ask God to lead you. Ask God to take care of you. Ask God to comfort you. And a lot of people who say, well, I try praying and nothing happens. Maybe it's how you're asking it. Maybe you're being greedy with how you're asking. Maybe it's just not time yet. And you got to keep working. And you got to keep pushing. You got to keep trying. You got to keep getting out of bed, even though you don't want to. You got to keep pushing. Because giving up doesn't do anything. Giving up does nothing but make the situation worse. You know, there's times where people come up to me and they're like, hey, how are you doing? I said, I can't complain, because if I did, I would be part of the problem, not the solution. It's about turning any negative into a positive. It's all how you look at life. People ask me all the time, Kent, with all the stuff that you've been through, all the trauma, all the damage, how do you get through your day without giving up? It's a good question, but I know the answer. It's my faith. It's knowing that every single day I can lean on my faith with God and He will have the answer. And the best thing is, lately I've been involved with church. I haven't gone to a Bible study in a while. I did a week ago, but I haven't gone as much as I used to because of work. But I found a few years ago, when you put yourself fully engulfed in God's power and glory, and you give your heart, you give that time that you have, that valuable time that a lot of people say they don't have, it only takes a couple minutes to pray and ask God, no matter what's going on, to take whatever pain you're going through, to leave it at His feet and move forward and trust that He will guide you. It's about thinking in your head, that childhood song, Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. You find peace within that. Maybe it's a different song. There's so many powerful things going on within Christianity right now. You know, I'm not one to talk about politics. I'm not one to talk about stuff that's going on in this world like that. But just recently we saw what happens when people come together with their faith, and people who didn't have faith but came to faith. The unfortunate situation with Charlie Kirk in that massive, powerful service that they had with all the Christian music and the worship songs at the beginning. It was powerful. And for me as a Christian, it was amazing to see that many people come together and worship God, putting aside politics and focusing on the power of God. It was powerful to me. Doesn't matter Like I've always said, if you're left, right, middle, it doesn't matter what your skin color, your race, your disability, we are all human beings. We deserve care, love, and respect. And the thing is, what's depressing about all this that's going on in our world right now is people think that violence is the answer to stop what they don't like. If you are thinking about doing something damaging where you want to hurt yourself or others, think about what you're going to do and how it's going to affect people, not just from your side, but from other sides, from every point of view. And if you're at that point where you feel like you need to do that, talk to someone, seek help. If you have certain things that you feel are a risk that are in your home, have someone take it away so you don't have access to it. But again, violence and killing people, it's not the answer. We should be talking like this. This community that we have right here, it's about talking. It's about being a family. It's about being united. And what's sad to me and depressing to me is that every day, no matter if you turn on the news or if you read a newspaper, if you even do that, or even look at your phones, your computers, your tablets, any electronic device, and you see all the negative things that happen in this world, all the hurt that people are doing to each other, all this drama, it makes you feel like, what the heck is going on? It's depressing. And if you don't feel depressed by what's going on, then there's a problem, because it shouldn't be like this. We are called to love one another. We are called to respect one another. That's what my mission within this podcast is for. I talk about my mission statement is from the Bible, Romans 15, 1-7. Look it up. That's what this is all about. You see, when I'm feeling down and I feel depressed, I think about the positives. And I say this all the time, wherever there is a negative, there is a positive. And some people agree with that statement and some people don't. Some people say, well, depending on the situation, it's hard not to be this. Yeah, and I get that. Where there's loss, where there's death, where there's pain, where there's suffering. Yes, it's hard to pull out of that emotion and find a positive. But how do we get through that? How do we pull ourselves out of that depression? I mean, that's what this is about. We're supposed to talk here and we're supposed to communicate and we're not supposed to be angry. But sometimes within our depression, it's hard not to be angry. And it goes back to the comment that I said before. What's the point in getting in these situations where there's all this emotion of negativity? It's not worth it. What does it prove when you get angry? Nothing. It just proves that you can yell. It just means that you can be rude. And the issue is we live in this world where we expect respect. We expect all these things from people. But yet when we get mad and we get angry, we're doing the exact opposite of what we're expecting. All these people that demand to be cared for and respected and valued and listened to, but yet when they're angry, they don't want to listen. They put all that other stuff aside and they focus on that negative. We need to do a better job of being more kind. In a few minutes, I will say the words that I always say, and it's the key to any and all of this. So pay attention. I'm going to say it in a little bit. So be ready. If you've not commented in the comment spot about how you deal with depression, how do you get through your depression? What do you do when you get to that bottom of the bottom? What do you do when you keep digging yourself into a hole and it feels like it's too late to get out of it? What do you do? How do you cope? How do you make sure that you're not going to make matters worse by what you feel is the best way out of these situations? And sometimes it does take time. Things don't just get healed just in a snap of a finger. Things take time to heal. Just like if you get a cut or a bruise, it doesn't go away in a day. It's just like if you have a plant and at first it's beautiful with all its color and all that good stuff. But then you forget about it. You forget to water it. You forget to nurture it. And it starts to turn a little bit brown. It starts to wither. It starts to not stand up straight, but starts to lean. Sometimes you got to give it water. You got to nurture it. You got to take care of it. Sometimes you got to clip things off to make it look nice so it can continue to grow. Sometimes you got to trim the fat, like they say, out of your life to get where you need to be, to grow better. Doesn't mean that you be rude to get rid of things. Doesn't mean you have to be angry to get rid of things. Sometimes as you grow, things change. It's just like, it's funny when you grow up and you hang out with all your friends and you're the best of friends. But then once you get into high school, you don't really talk anymore. And why is that? People change. There's lots of people that I used to growing up, that I wish I could have friendships still with. But I've tried to open that door and tried to make contact, and I tried to do things to maybe apologize if I've done something wrong in the past. And some reply, and some are willing to forgive, and some don't reply and obviously don't want to forgive, or they don't want to have a friendship, or maybe there's other things involved where they just can't, that someone else is influencing them not to. And that's unfortunate too. But the thing is for me, I get sad. I get depressed by that because as kids, you always say, oh, we're always going to be friends. We're always going to hang out. We're always going to do this. And then once you get older, that doesn't happen. And then it's like, dang, this sucks. There's one friend in particular that I can think of. And me and him, we had our moments. There was times where we got along and we were the best of friends. He would go to my birthday parties. I would go to his house. He would come to my house. I would stay overnight at his house. He would stay overnight at my house. We grew up together from first grade all the way to 8th grade. And once 8th grade was over, it was like, that was it. But within those 1st through 8th grade years, there was times, like I said, where we got along, and then there was times where we were like water and oil. We did not mix. We would get into fights. And I don't know if it's because of those. I don't know if it was something that I've done after the fact. Why there's no communication, there's no willingness to forgive and forget. I've tried to make contact. I've tried to do whatever, and it has gone unsuccessful. And it hurts. Does it hurt my dignity? Just a little bit. But it's one person I always thought would be my friend. And I wish that that door would open just a little bit slightly for us to just talk and just hash things out, whatever needs to be done. And at least close that door, whether a friendship reopens or it's just left at that. But because that can't happen, it sucks because I don't want something to happen to me and my life were to end tomorrow. And that person has all this anger, all this frustration, all this whatever in their mind. I don't want that. To me, that's depressing. And for some people, they may think to themselves, well, who cares what other people think? Who cares if you have their friendship or not? Well, to me, that's what's important to me is my friendships, is the people that I care about. I care about a lot of people. And maybe that's my downfall. Maybe that's my fault. But I don't think that's a bad quality. It's nothing to be down about. You can't force people to like you. You can't force people to talk to you. You can't do certain things. And yes, that may be frustrating and even more depressing, but that's just how life is. Sometimes you don't get to close certain doors that are important to you. Sometimes you do. You know, there was a person that I talked to that is a family friend. They used to babysit for me, or to me, or however you would put that. They were my babysitter. And we were talking about whatever, and it came up that, oh yeah, a memory of babysitting me. And apparently there was a moment in time where I was not pleasant. And I don't remember this situation at all. And when I heard what they said, it was devastating. A conversation starts out nice and it's all wonderful. And then all of a sudden it's boom, right there. This is what you did to me and blah, blah, blah. And this is how it affected me. And I'm just listening and it hurt. It was depressing because here I am now an adult and it's been years and years later. And this person has held this for all that time. And I don't think any apology that I said made any difference because what happened has happened. But the reality is I can move forward and maybe they move forward. Sometimes you hear these things that you really don't want to hear and it hurts you and it eats you up inside and it haunts you. What do you do in these moments? Especially for those who have the mindset that can't let go of things that fast. And it eats and it eats and it eats at you. What do you do? That's what's so amazing about human beings is that each of us are different. We all have certain ways we cope and deal with things. Some minds are able to move forward, like I said earlier. Some can't. Some take a little bit more time to process, to see things through. Some people have the ability to think in a snap of a finger what they need to do differently, what needs to be done, what needs to be said properly. Some people just don't have that capability. It's like diarrhea of the mouth. They just let everything flow and it's too late. And then they go back and they go, wow, did I really just say that? Holy cow. Why did I say that? Why did I do that? That was so stupid of me. What am I going to do now? What are they going to think? Can I even approach them again? Can I even see them again? Am I going to have to hide every time I see them come around the corner just so I don't have to deal with the possibilities of what they might think or say? And for some of you may think that this is not depression, but to me, sometimes I feel that way and it is depressing because I put myself in that predicament. The biggest thing that you can do within your depression is just like in any first step is to forgive yourself, to move forward and say, okay, I made a mistake. I can move forward. I can do anything that I put my mind to. And at the end of the day, no matter how big or how small that misfortune is, I'm not a bad person. I don't have to be in fear. That person already knows how I feel, that I'm sorry, that I apologized. And whether they accepted it or not, at least you know you did the right thing by saying, I'm sorry. Depression is horrible. It eats at you. It drains you. It makes you feel weak. But the biggest question in this podcast today is, how do you handle that? How do you make sure that within your depression, you're taking the right steps to overcome it, not feed into it, not making it grow bigger and stronger where it becomes this massive, huge problem? Because like I said, it's been a while since I'd done one of these. And there was lots of times within the last podcast till now that I have felt a lot of emotions, a lot of anger towards myself, a lot of frustrations towards the world, even though the world had nothing to do with it. I had to find a different route, an alternate route. I had to figure out, how am I going to make this better without making things worse? I had to look back and realize sometimes I got to bite my tongue, which a lot of us don't do. Sometimes it's better just to pull back and let whatever happens, happens. You know, the other week, I did something that I was shocked I thought I would never do. I went on a roller coaster, and I'm definitely afraid of roller coasters. I don't like them. They scare me, especially when you look on TikTok or all these other social media sites, and all you see is rides breaking down, rides being stuck upside down, rides coming off the coaster, people getting hurt, rides breaking in half while it's running with people on it. It scares me. And I went on this roller coaster, and some people say it's a kid's roller coaster, which I don't know if that's true or not. Could be both. There's a lot of adults that go on it. But anyways, I went on it, and I was scared. And here it goes. Up the first part. Click, 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 click. And then it gets to the top. Now, keep in mind, I'm on the very back of the ride, and it goes down. And as it goes down, I'm feeling the G's, and I am freaking out. I'm getting worried. I got a little bit dizzy or whatever because of it. And once it got to the bottom, it automatically turns to the left really sharp. And I just about pass out. But I made it through it. And a part of me is like, okay, that wasn't so bad. I made it through it. Would I do it again? Probably not. But regardless, I did it. I overcame my fear and I did it. Does it mean I'm going to continue to go on them? No. I'm just proud that I did it. And that's the fact right here is you never know of the possibilities until you try it and do it, because you're going to make it through. Nothing bad is ever going to happen if you don't try. Some things may fail, but it doesn't mean the worst of the worst, the end of all ends are going to happen. You just keep going. You give it a chance. You'll pull through. And yes, it's going to be scary. Yes, there's going to be times where you're going to be freaking out in your mind going, screaming in your mind, but you're going to do it. And as long as you have a good support base, as long as you have positive people surrounding you, you can pull through. But if you don't have good, positive things in your life to keep you and your mind from going crazy, yes, you're going to have these times where you're going to fall into the pit of depression. But it's all how you see yourself out. It's all how you make a difference in your life by making things better. So let's do that today. What do you say? Leave a comment in a comment spot below. If you want to join in this conversation, share your life experiences, the positives of how you got through your depression, what you did, your tips, your skills. Did it take time? How long did it take? Did it take a short time, a long time? Talk about it. Let's get through this together, because maybe you'll see something that someone else has gone through, that you went through that's similar, and you can try it and it may work. Who knows? But life is just like a playbook in a sports team. Some plays work. Some plays you'll make it through and you'll score and be successful. And then there's some plays where you are just going to be like, well, back to the drawing board. Life is not meant to be easy. It's not meant to be hard. But no matter how you look at things, no matter what you do, again, wherever there is a negative, there is a positive. So remember that. Don't give up. Keep fighting for what you feel is best for your life. Don't let depression bring you down. Don't let depression eat at you. Don't let it destroy you, because that will do nothing good. And if you see someone in that state of depression, let's help them. Let's lift them up. Let's be that community that comes together, puts a hand on them and prays for them and says, Lord, help this person. Nothing can be done by itself. It takes a group. It takes an army. It takes a group of warriors to come together and help. So let's do that. Now, early in the podcast, I said there was going to be key things that I'm going to say at the very end that will sum up all this, that will help you. And here it is. Remember to think and be positive. Do what you can today, not what you can't. And most importantly, I believe in you. Don't you think you should too? And if you see someone who has served our country, whether it be police, military, fire, or even the hardworking people in our medical facilities, tell them how much you appreciate them. Give them a fist bump. Give them an elbow. Slide them some skin. Say thank you for all that you do. You never know how much that one random act of kindness will affect their lives that moment in time. Who knows? They may be depressed. And maybe that one small kind gesture will change their day and put a smile on their face. I've seen it happen. So let's do it today. One random act of kindness at a time. And let's make this world a better place. And until the next time we talk, thank you for listening. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one, right here on the Kent Holste Podcast. God bless.